Welcome, dear viewers, to another important update here on Bishop David Oyedepo World, where we bring you trusted insights from the heart of the ministry. Today's topic has sparked interest and conversation across church leadership circles. A June 2, 2025 memo from the leadership of Living Faith Church Worldwide, also known as Winners Chapel, has just placed new restrictions on pastors attending other ministers' programs. That's right. The directive was officially signed and circulated by Adebisi O, Aboluwade, and it outlines specific guidelines for pastors and church leaders under this Great Commission, especially regarding their involvement in external church programs, whether hosted by affiliate ministries, sons of the house, or even retired pastors. But what exactly does this memo mean? Why was it released now? And how does this align with the broader vision and values of the ministry? Let's break it all down together. To truly understand the weight of this memo, we need to zoom out and look at the broader structure and history of the Living Faith Church Worldwide. Founded by Bishop David Oyedepo in 1981, the church has grown from a small fellowship to a global apostolic network with thousands of churches across continents, including branches in over 143 nations. With this massive expansion comes the need for strict structure, clear direction, and spiritual discipline. The Living Faith Church is known not just for its teachings on faith, prosperity, and dominion, but also for its strong spiritual order and apostolic authority. Over the years, many pastors have been raised, mentored, and released from this commission, often referred to as sons and daughters of the prophet, meaning they were trained and spiritually imparted by Bishop David Oyedepo himself. These ministers, over time, have launched their own churches and ministries. And while many still honor their spiritual root, their ministry directions may differ. In recent times, we've seen a major transition, such as the retirement of Bishop David O, one of the oldest and most respected vice presidents of the Commission. Bishop O, after his honorable retirement in October 2024, proceeded to launch a new ministry believed to be led by God. This transition, however, opened the door to a wave of speculations, curiosity, and even allegiances among some pastors and members within and outside the commission. Some began attending external programs without protocol. Others began to look up to former leaders rather than the central vision of Living Faith Church. And that's likely what prompted the June 2 memo, a leadership move designed to refocus the ministry and protect its structure. Highlights from the memo. Let's now go directly to the memo itself and examine the critical components. Date and sender. Date, June 2, 2025. From Adebisi O, Aboluwade. A key figure within the church's administrative structure and a representative of authority within the office of Bishop David Oyedepo. This wasn't a leaked message, it was a formal memo, carefully written and distributed to pastors and leaders of the ministry across cities and nations. Key directives in the memo. Let's look at the main instructions from the memo and their implications. Church services take priority over external events. The memo clearly states that all Living Faith Church services and official programs take top priority over any external event, including those organized by sons or daughters of the prophet, retired, resigned, or disengaged pastors, affiliate ministries. This means no matter who is organizing an event, if it clashes with a Winners Chapel service, such as Covenant Hour of Prayer, Sunday services, or any kingdom advancement endeavor, the church's program takes precedence. This reinforces the ministry's core principle, vision first, loyalty always. Programs by retired or disengaged pastors are considered secondary. The memo does not dishonor or criticize former pastors, but it makes it clear that once a minister is no longer actively part of the commission, their events must not override the schedule or commitment to the mother church. This directive especially applies to those who have gone on to start their own ministries, such as Bishop O, Bishop Memo, and other respected leaders. It's not about cutting ties, it's about maintaining focus. No attendance without clearance. This is where the memo becomes very administrative. If any Living Faith Church pastor wishes to attend an external event hosted by a son or daughter of the prophet, a retired or disengaged leader, an affiliate ministry within the city or town of their primary assignment, they must obtain clearance from the office of the undersigned, which likely refers to church authority, possibly the Executive Council or Bishop Oyedepo's office directly. Why this measure? to avoid conflict of interest, confusion among the flock, and to protect the purity of doctrine and loyalty within the church network. Purpose of the memo. Finally, the memo concluded by emphasizing the real reason behind the directive: to prevent loss of focus, to avoid compromise, and to ensure that the flock of Christ is properly nurtured. This is not about controlling people, it's about maintaining spiritual covering, leadership order, and apostolic alignment. Now that we've unpacked the memo's meaning, context, and content, you can see that it's not a punishment, it's a protective leadership action. As ministries grow larger and more complex, spiritual order becomes not just optional, but essential. Why this policy? Now, let's address a vital question that many are asking. Why was such a memo necessary? On the surface, it may seem controlling, but let's take a deeper look at the spiritual, administrative, and strategic reasons behind this move. 1. To avoid conflicting loyalties among pastors. Living Faith Church is an apostolic movement led by strong spiritual leadership. Many of its pastors were trained and ordained directly under Bishop David Oyedepo, carrying the same mantle of faith, discipline, and excellence. Now imagine a scenario where a currently serving pastor begins to attend or endorse meetings of a former senior leader who has started another ministry. While there may be no conflict in intention, conflict in loyalty can quietly brew. Such mixed alignments often give room for doctrinal confusion, dual allegiances, and emotional transfer of loyalty from the church's current structure to something external. This is what the policy seeks to prevent. It's not personal, it's protective. 2. To preserve the spiritual atmosphere and doctrinal alignment. Every ministry has its unique mantle, message, and mandate. Living Faith Church has a prophetic message of faith, dominion, covenant prosperity, and kingdom stewardship. These are non-negotiables. However, once pastors begin to freely engage external programs, especially from ministers no longer in alignment with the church's doctrine or emphasis, it opens the gates to infiltration, doctrinal dilution, and eventual division. Preserving the spiritual atmosphere is not about being restrictive, it's about keeping the altar pure and focused. 3. To prevent church members from being scattered or confused. When pastors attend external programs without protocol, it sends a confusing signal to church members. Is this other ministry now part of ours? Should I follow my pastor there too? Is this a new spiritual direction for our local branch? The result? Scattered sheep, mixed messages, and fractured followership. The apostolic mandate placed on Bishop Oyedepo includes nurturing the flock, and this policy helps ensure that pastors don't unintentionally lead people out of covering. 4. To maintain the integrity of the ministry chain of command. Just as in military ranks, church governance depends on a clear chain of command. Unapproved participation in external programs undermines the authority of the system. It may signal disobedience, even if unintentionally. This policy is a clear line in the sand that reinforces respect for leadership, submission to church authority, and protection of ministerial order. Implications for pastors and church leaders. Now, what does this mean for current pastors and leaders in Living Faith Church? 1. Mandatory clearance before attending external events. Before, pastors may have had the liberty to attend programs based on relationships. But now, the memo mandates official clearance from the appropriate office, likely the presidency or national secretariat, before such participation. This brings clarity, accountability, and administrative order. 2. A new era of structural accountability. We are seeing a tightening of pastoral protocols. This may appear rigid, but in an expanding global ministry like Winners Chapel, administrative structure is essential for sustainability. It also protects pastors from unnecessary distractions, spiritual contamination, or unintended rebellion. 3. Potential impact on relationships with former leaders. Some pastors may feel tension if they are closely connected to former senior leaders who are now heading their own ministries. This policy doesn't ask them to cut off those relationships, but it does draw a boundary. Personal friendships must not compromise the vision of the commission. 4. New approach to networking across ministries. This may also reshape how Living Faith Church pastors engage with other churches. From now on, ministry networking is not casual, It must align with the church's vision and structure. This promotes honor, coordination, and proper covering, rather than rogue ministry behavior. Scriptural backing. Let's now reinforce this directive with biblical principles. 1 Corinthians 14 verse 40. Let all things be done decently and in order. God is not the author of confusion. Church order is scriptural, not optional. Acts 20 verse 28. Take heed therefore unto yourselves, and to all the flock, over the which the Holy Ghost hath made you overseers. Leaders are held accountable for how they feed and protect the flock, not just preach to them. Hebrews 13 verse 17. Obey them that have the rule over you, and submit yourselves, for they watch for your souls. Submission to spiritual authority is not weakness, it is wisdom and protection. In conclusion, the June 2, 2025 memo from Living Faith Church leadership was not just another announcement, it was a spiritual protocol, a reaffirmation of apostolic order, and a call to loyalty, focus, and discipline. Whether you are a church leader, a son of the prophet, or a faithful member, this is a time to respect leadership decisions, walk in honor, avoid unnecessary distractions, and above all, stay aligned with your divine assignment. Let's remember, the goal is not isolation, but concentration, so that the vision does not lose voice and the flock is not misled. Don't forget to subscribe for more well-balanced updates from Bishop David Oyedepo World. Thank you for watching, and stay focused on your kingdom assignment.